Hi, my name is Alana Ruoso and I'm a career and success coach for those who deep down know they can do better but keep falling short of where they want to go. Today I'm going to talk about why a people pleaser can make your workplace toxic. So what is a people pleaser? A people pleaser is someone who is averse to saying no, often tremendously insecure, wants to go, and never say no, doesn't have boundaries, and is so concerned with helping others or doing things for others because they don't want to let them down, but also they don't want to be seen as not competent. So they can be tremendously insecure, really indecisive because they're so worried about making the wrong decision and letting other people down. And it's kind of this constant treadmill of energy of pleasing others. And I know this because I spent a lot of my earlier years of my life as a people pleaser. I had this deep need to make other people happy, and the more I accomplished, the more value I thought I brought to the table. And you know, this goes back to a lot of things that would have happened to me when I was younger, and that need. So the thing with a people pleaser, why it can be so toxic, is if they're in your workplace, so they can have that expectation that you too have to just keep going and going and going. And it will be a situation where more is never enough. And if your boss is a people pleaser, then you really can be screwed. And this is what happened to me. I was working in a company that had at the very top a people pleaser, but it wasn't too bad for me because I didn't have to deal directly with her too often. I could recognize it really instantly, super indecisive, had all these wacky last minute requests because she was so concerned with pleasing her bosses and making sure she was doing the right thing, and just really insecure, and was kind of a workaholic. So people pleasers can make amazing workaholics because they just want to keep going, right? So they're just happy to, that's their sense of worth, is helping others and doing things and performing. And wow, especially now that we're in this pandemic life where, you know, there's very few people doing a lot of jobs, or like there's less people to do a ton of work, it can be just get on that treadmill, and that can be really toxic. So the top person I had to work with, people pleaser, okay, that was fine. I had an amazing boss, and then she left, and then another boss came in for me, so my direct boss, who was the ultimate people pleaser. So it was people pleaser, and then on top of her, people pleaser, and then, you know, at that point I'm kind of effed because there was just going to be no boundaries. And so that's one of the things to look for, is the people you're working with or your boss, do they have boundaries? Do they believe in working a certain amount of hours, or just working for the sake of working? Do they send emails at 2 o'clock in the morning? Do they expect you to work on the weekend? Do they expect you to stay late all the time? Do they expect you to just take on every single task no matter what, even if the task doesn't make sense? I mean, that's something that can be really scary, because if you're in a corporate job, you should be discerning. You should be looking at what's going to bring money into the company instead of doing projects just for make work. That makes like zero sense. And especially from a creative background, a graphic designer background, where it's all about critiquing and analysis and problem solving, you really want to just do what's necessary, the best you can. It doesn't mean you don't help where necessary, but my toxic boss, the one direct above me, I had to write it down because it's so good. Her belief was the manager from my team should take on every task that may be requested because every task will add value to the team and the company. So this is a direct quote that was written to me, probably because I was doing some pushback and wasn't too happy about some of the things that I had to do, which made like zero sense to me. But that attitude right there, that is a people pleaser. That is someone who just has the expectation that you just do whatever. And that is going to lead to burnout. That's one of the things that will make the job so toxic. And I talk about burnout in my video about alignment. When you are burnt out, you will be completely out of alignment, and then you're going to feel disconnected, you're going to feel unfulfilled, all these things start to happen. So the thing with the people pleaser to also remember is that they kind of seem just really nice and generous at first, just like, you know, want to help you and all these things, but sometimes it doesn't come from this really altruistic place. It can be kind of setting yourself up for failure, because you're just never, if they feel that they can never please their boss, then they're going to have they can have the expectation that you just can never do enough to please them. So it's this really vicious cycle. But I encourage you to think about that if you are in a toxic workplace and having that challenge. Are you in a sea of people pleaser? Is it a